So, welcome to this video on which is a guide to how to solve the exercise in VICO Schedule Planner. It's a small case where we have three buildings or three houses with 3 to 5 floors. House 1 with 4 floors. There's house 2 with 3 floors and house 3 with 5 floors. We're planning the finishing works. That means not the erection of the raw building itself. We start on 6th of January and finish 15th of March. On each floor of each building we have 2 apartments, giving a total of, we have 5 plus 3, that's 8, plus 4, that's 12 floors with 2 apartments each, so we have 24 apartments total. You scroll down further, you see the work breakdown structure. These are the works that we have to plan. These are the companies doing it, and here we have the duration. So now the task is to plan it in using VICO Schedule Planner. So the first thing to do is to start up VICO Schedule Planner. I have it sorted here just under Microsoft Project, but now I click Schedule Planner. I just create an empty project. I can now begin by adding some some information. Example in class, take 3. Yes, this is the third time I try to make this video. Enough about that. I don't have any code. Company, via manager, no, planner, that's me. We see now the standard window is the flowline, which is the main feature of the location-based scheduling software. You can also click here, then we have the Gantt view. You can have task control, you can have resource usage, you can cash flow, you can assign monetary values to the different tasks, etc. There's a network view, but since the project is totally empty now, it doesn't really make sense. First step is that we need to create our location breakdown structure. We need the skeleton. We need to build our project here. We are planning the apartments. So the planning of the apartments is the end goal. We have 3 houses and then a different number of floors. But if we click here, right click, somewhere where it says project, we just right click and insert location. We could then write house or building, whatever you call it. Let's say house. How many locations did we have? We had 3 houses. And already now you see a division between house 1, 2, and 3. House 1, insert location. We had floors in the house, and in house 1 we had 4 floors. Now you see the house 1 has been subdivided. You can also do the same for house 2. You just right click anywhere here, insert location. It already knows it's a floor. So location in house 2, we have 3 floors. In house 3 we had 5. In each floor we had 2 apartments. So I just write APPT, short for apartments. 2 apartments, and why not? We can name them with a number or an alphabet. If we click alphabet, it's just A and B. I could theoretically do the same for all. I can also go up on the project settings, and then click on the floor setting. What is it we want? We want and now it added it a little bit faster. So if I want to stick with the numbering, I have to go in and change it. So maybe it was not faster after all. Yeah, suit yourself. You can also go back and simply use the numbering 1 and 2, like with the rest. Maybe that's easier. Either way, it can be called A or B or 1 or 2 using numbering or letters. And you could continue this division further and further, but there's a rule of thumb that you don't want to plan any location with a duration of less than 1 day. So now we have the skeleton. It's time to add some activities. You could simply create a task if you want to, but I recommend that you do it in the Gantt view. A quick way is if you have a Word document or an Excel file where you're also doing part of the planning, you could just simply copy from Excel and then paste it here. And now you see already a lot of things have been created. You can see a lot of rows have been created. For each apartment, you have one line. The standard duration is 10 days. I can just change it to 24 days if I want to. Subsequently, it alters the duration of the individual apartments. I could also simply change the duration of the individual apartments with 1, but that takes a little bit longer. I think it's by far faster to just write 24. And now it's already screwed up. So be careful with this. So let this be a warning that if the apartments have the same duration, you should not go in here and change them. You change it up here, which is much faster. Now I accidentally changed some of the subsequent activities. I didn't mean to do that. So let's see. The first 3 tasks, they take 1 day per apartment. That gives me 24 apartments. That means the first 3 tasks, they take 24 days each. So I just write 24, 24, and 24. And I believe that the next one was 36. That corresponds to 1.5 days each. Let me just go back and check. Yeah, it's a good thing. Electric cables also took 1 day. So it's the first 4 activities that take 1 day. The wet membranes take 1.5 days. So electric cables 24, the membrane 36. If I go back, I can then see the next 2 activities. They have the next 3 have a duration of 2 days each. So 2 days times 24 units. That's 48. 48. Oops, I think that was too many. If we go back, fixtures and second painting takes 1.5 days. So that's 36. 36. And the appliance installation took half a day. So half a day is only 12 days total. So now we have programmed, we're just using the headers. All the individual activities have been created by the program. So already now we're much faster than Microsoft project. Go back to the flow line. We see things are starting to happen. We have some collisions, and there's something going on with the calendar that's not really as it should be. I could click project settings, see if there's something I'm missing. For sure, we have the starting date of the project, which was 6th of January 2020. and the finishing date was 15th of March 2020. So if I add that, we now have the correct dates, but we see we have a problem. There's something wrong with the activities. We need to define something about the activities, about when the subsequent activities start and finish. That's easily done in network view. One thing we can do here, we can double click and we get some choices. We can click advanced, then we get even more choices. It's not necessary to see the advanced setting. I'm looking only for this as early as possible. And then I can click OK. I could also double click here, as early as possible. OK. And then I do that for all of them. One way is to click advanced. Let me see if that's a little faster. I click here also as early as possible. And then I click OK and next. OK, early as possible. OK and next. And I continue this. Second. And then appliances. OK. And now I've added this small information that I want them to start as early as possible. If I go back to my flowline chart, they all start at the same time. And of course that we can't have that. That's going to be chaos in the beginning. So we can define the predecessor and the following activities, the successors. We can do that also in this task. We have dependencies here where you can add it. You can also simply just drag and drop like this. So now I'm adding dependencies. If I by mistake do this, then I can always say, oops, I didn't mean to do that. Then I delete the dependency again. I didn't mean to skip painting, for example. Now what did we do? If I double click here, we have a dependency. It's a type FS. That's a finish to start without lag, buffer, or location delay. The lag is a delay that I am forcing onto the activity. This goes on calendar days. The buffer is on working days, and I actually like to have one working day buffer. Location delay is a feature you can use, for example, if you want to have a delay due to this particular, could be if you are working with concrete, that the concrete needs to set. You need to plan for some days between concreting and then subsequent works on the concrete. I double click, I add the buffer again, and I have to repeat this until I've done it. If I don't do it now, I know I've done it for the first 4. If I go back, I can see we have there's not the desired delay between the activities. We have start of the next activities immediately after. Maybe you are disagreeing that you don't want it, but I prefer to have 1 day lag buffer, to use a buffer 1 day. Of course, it costs in the overall planning, so it's not necessarily something that you can afford. So now I added that we have as early as possible to start, and I've added a dependency between the tasks, and I also made sure that everything is as I like it. If I go back here, I now have everything planned. I'm not done because I don't fulfill the desired end date. but I have all tasks. Final thing that I would like to do is the lines are not straight, um, and that's because the heights of the apartment is not the same. So it's a visual thing. You can fix this. Now it's governed so that the houses take up the same space, but I actually don't want that. I want it to be the apartment that's determining how much space it takes up. So if I click project settings, I go on the house. Instead of just having one here, if I add 4, and then I copy the lower level locations. If I write 4, 3, and 5 to match this value and click OK, you see now the lines are straight. The last I just discovered to my horror that I did not save. I quickly save it. Example and class. So now I saved the file. I recommend you do that in the beginning. But one other thing, the calendar, the project calendar. We have a US calendar. There is a Danish calendar you can choose, but it's absolute gibberish. It's not right, so don't waste your time on that. If you don't have access to calendars, you need to create your own. Click New Calendar and then simply add your own relevant holidays. However, I provided you with a calendar file. You can click Project, and then there is one that's called Importing from a template file, Calendars. You click this, you get the option of choosing a calendar. It's available in the files for VICO Schedule Planner that I provided for you on It's Learning. Choose Calendars 2016 to 2022. Click Open. You say you're importing it. Yes. Don't forget to click Replace. You don't want to add it on another calendar. You want to replace the existing calendar. I click OK now. I just check what happened with the calendar. It's Denmark, and it's not these totally wrong calendars that there was to begin with. Now it's the actual holiday calendar for Denmark. Christmas, Easter 2020. Yeah, so now we should have everything as it is. But note, we're not done yet. The task, which is for you to find out yourself, working on methods or how to accelerate the completion of these dates. You see you have some empty spaces here. That means you're wasting time. You are not working effectively in all locations. So you need to synchronize the work. You need to accelerate to see if you can make the curves steeper. If not, for example, for the bathrooms, you have a task of finding out maybe you need 2 teams working on bathrooms instead of just one. Because most bathrooms are not very big. That means the answer is not just to put more people into the same bathroom. They cannot work effectively. Maybe you need to introduce 2 teams, and Schedule Planner can handle more teams on the same activity. Well, I trust for you to find that out for the next week. But anyway, if you've followed me this far and you've created this, then you know the basics of how to start a planner and to add your location breakdown schedule so you have the right structure in your plan. You can see the Gantt view if you want to open it up for the individual starting and finishing dates. So you have all the information that you need. But most of all, what you have is a very good visual representation of your tool. If you remember when you press print in Microsoft Project, it's a big task to print it out in a way that it's easy to understand. Here you have everything, and I think this, which is a quite big project with how many tasks is it? It's 251 tasks total, even more, 275 tasks. And if you just want to see the overall picture here, you can easily print this out in A4 or A3, and you can actually see all 270 something activities when they are. For example, this week, the electrical are working on apartment 13B, this apartment here. So it's a powerful tool. That's all I wanted to show you in regarding VICO Schedule Planner. So good luck with the assignment, and not to say you have to try to fix this problem. I'm giving up now, but I trust that someone in the class can do it better.